Hello, welcome back. My name is Mauli, and I wear a lot of hats. I'm a high school geometry teacher, a former roller derby player, a current Dungeons and Dragons player, and I am a variety streamer on Twitch. Today we'll be doing a couple of things. We will be doing the discovery mode of level 1 of the solo gardening RPG that I have created, as well as playing through two uh, tending sessions, and we're just going to have fun and enjoy that. So, before we get into the dice rolling, let's review a couple of things that I posted in my previous video. And so, we have our inventory page. As we can see right here, there's some serious bleeding through the paper from level 0. But I'm so excited to show you level 0 and how that turned out, and we can re-explore that. We will not be tending level 0 because there are a couple of kinks in the game that I have discovered while playing by rolling the discovery session of level 0. But if you want to see that and hear all my heavy breathing in my first YouTube video, you can go back and look at that. It will be linked in the ending card. So you can just fast forward to the end or watch through this, look at that, click on that link, and go back and look at level 0, where I go into a lot more detail. I will not be going into as much detail because you can read what to do on the rules page, Google Sheets, and because there's that level 0 video that is posted. Here is my inventory page after my title page, and this is what level 0 turned out looking like, all colored in and filled out. I'm very pleased with how this turned out despite the bleeding through the page. And so let's talk about what we have in this fantasy magical garden going on here. So we enter into the garden through an outdoor dining area. Over here to the west, we are growing some dill. Over here to the east, we have a labyrinth. And then past the labyrinth is a hammock area. This right here is an outhouse, so even in a fantasy world, you might have to potty. So here's the outhouse. And when we continue north, let's talk about these three areas right here. We have beehives, and I did draw in the bees. I know you probably can't see it on camera, and I don't want to bring it any closer because it will not focus, but I did draw in some little bees in there. They're bringing me a lot of joy. We got a bench sitting area, growing some roses right here. This is a greenhouse, another bee area. Right here, growing some hyacinths. We have a gazebo here. This is a raspberry patch. This is the mushroom patch, the mushroom grove, and I did use a little white marker to draw the mushrooms, and that brought me a lot of joy. It made me happy. Here we have a blueberry patch. Here I am growing some lantana. Here's just a shade tree, another labyrinth. Up here, this lush, beautiful area is a zucchini field where lots of zucchini are growing. Right here is another herb patch, a small area similar to the dill patch down here. And here I'm growing some parsley. Or rather, the magical garden has sprouted up some parsley. Here we have a cherry orchard, very small. I struggled with my spacing here. I would have loved to put more cherry trees in there, but I struggled with my spacing, and that's what I ended up with. And last but not least, we got pond, because, ponds are fun. We can imagine that there are some fun little koi fish and goldfish swimming about in there, having a jolly good time. And we have finally another ground flower area. So there's a difference between these three ground flower medium areas and this kind of small areas and this medium shrub flowers. So these are tall flowers. these are roses, and these are all ground flowers. These are zinnias. So that is level 0 and how that rolled out. And so before we get to level 1, which I have prepped here, let's talk about what's going to be different in this session than level 0. So I'm going to pull up my little table and show y'all around. So, some things that I changed is I added a little blurb right here about what to do whenever you roll your dice for a space and either of your dice is die rolled is a 1. If you have a 1 for either of your X or Y dimensions, you will draw a pathway. You can get creative with pathways. You will hold to whatever the perspectives are as far as keep your X your horizontal and your Y your vertical. And so I added a little blurb about that. Logging pathways is optional. I always log mine and number them as well, but that is just personal preference and it's up to you what you decide to do. And now this is where there are some major changes. So right here in my small spaces, I have changed what we have available. It used to be herb patch, a let me look on my photos because it's there in my photos. Small spaces used to be herb patch, a bench slash hammock slash sitting area or swing, your choice. A flower patch, so ground flowers, and then 4 was a meditation labyrinth or gazebo, your choice. 5 is still a pond, and 6 is still a shade tree. But as you can see, I have changed 2 and 4. I've taken out the sitting area and the labyrinth or gazebo because these just are not useful spaces. And I've replaced it with things that are vital to your tending session playing. And so you need to have at least a buyer somewhere in your garden where you can sell your crops to. And you need to have a vendor somewhere in your garden. Traveling vendor, think of these as like traveling people or people who just also have access to the magical garden and they buy and sell goods. And so those are vital. And where I had those previously is where your dead ends slash run out of space. And so instead of keeping a vital aspect of the game in a area that just might happen, we have 100%, not 100%, but high probability now of rolling those vital areas for your playthrough. Another change that I have made is small spaces versus large spaces. And so, medium spaces versus large spaces. Medium spaces used to be 14 to 30, and then large spaces were 32 to 144. And so I have made it slightly easier to roll a large space by making medium spaces end at, sorry about that, at 28 and large spaces begin at 30. So this is a more common roll that you will see, a 5 by 6, so that we can get some more crops going because that is where a lot of the magic happens and a lot more fun is going to happen. And so that is one change that I've made. And as y'all can see, I have changed the dead end table. And so we are going to walk through, roll through the level 1, the discovery. And I have decided to do my rolling a little bit different this time for time's sake, and so that you have more interaction as a viewer with the tables. And so again, I will roll the first 3 spaces with you, but what's going to happen in this session that is different from last session, instead of rolling out the space drawing it, and then continuing to roll to see what type of space it is. I'm just going to roll out my spaces, draw it, and log if they're small, medium, or large, and then we'll go back and do the discovery together. But again, I am going to roll out those first three spaces with you, and then we'll fast forward through the rest of the rolling for this area, and then go back and add the details of what is in each area. We'll do that together because I just think that would be fun. And we might work this space 3 times because I would like to not switch on my tables too much. And so I'll roll out the details on the garden spaces together, and then on the subsequent tables that tell you what type of berries or what type of herbs or what type of crops or what type of orchard you have, we'll roll that in like a third round of rolls. So I have prepped level 1, the gardening area, with the entrance in the center bottom. And let's talk about some things that another thing that I did differently before we move on. So it's very faint because I did it in pencil, but my log is different than this log that just starts on the furthest most left area. I really don't like uneven details, so I have pre-loaded area for you to log the stats for each space. So this is your watering stat, this is your fertilizer stat, and then I even have a little space for me to mark small, medium, large, SML, and then we'll put the space type and the details of what's growing in there if it's one of those types over here, so that way we're not logging stats kind of jaggedly on the right side. So if you watched or will be watching, I have a lot of D6. I know I said in level 0 that you need just 2, but I like different colors for different things. It's just the type of person I am. And so we got X axis yellow for Y axis, and then this is what I'm going to roll the exits on. So I'm going to roll 3d6 at one time to determine size and exits. And so let's get to rolling. Gonna put the little entrance pathway right here. Just some reminders, your starting space has to be a minimum of at least 6 spaces. So 2 by 3 or 3 by 2. I prefer 3 by 2, but if we can get bigger, that's even better. And again, you can choose to leave your starting space blank, or you can roll in the table to figure out what's in it. I will always be filling my garden with as much things as possible, so I'll always be rolling on my starting area. And so let's see what we got. All right, this is a 5 by 4 space. And then I believe rolling a 4, so 5 by 4 is 5 by 4 is 20, so it's a medium space. And since I rolled a 4, it will have, well, it's the starting space, so it's always going to have 3 exits. So we can just ignore that for this very first space. So let me get that drawn out. 5 is my X, 4 is my Y. I love it when my starting area has an X that is odd so that I can center my north going path. I think that's super fun. Let me grab my handy dandy straight edge. So I'm just going to jot down M for medium, and then I'm going to put a 1 in the corner. So I'm going to go west first. We have a pathway actually. So we got 5 by 1, so it'll just extend to the west, and I'm okay with that. That is perfectly fine. Pathways, exits don't matter, so let's just draw that pathway. And I'll put P for path. Again, logging pathways are completely optional, but I like to. Alright, let's go back through the starting area and go east now. Alright, this is a 6 by 5 large area, and this large area has 2 exits because I rolled a 3. So 6. 5. 2 exits, and you have full control over where you place those exits. And it's completely 100% up to you. Do what feels right. Alright, I'm going to put a little 3 here, and 3 and an L for large. So, I am going to fast forward through the rest of me filling out this, and so I'm just going to roll away. Oh no, that was just 2. Well, it's technically 3, but whatever. I'm just going to forward through the rest of this. I'm going to go north next, but I'll catch you on the other side. All right, we are done rolling. And yeah, that took some time, but tis what it is. I enjoyed every second of it. So let us figure out what we have in each space. We have one dead end to roll. This area was kind of weird, but we're gonna go in order and roll on the spaces table. And so I will pull that up for your enjoyment so you can reference that. I'm trying to just zoom it in. All right, perfect. All right, so here's our table. Area number one was medium. We're gonna pull out the die that prefer to use for this. Um, so medium, we're gonna roll, and we got number one, beehive. So we enter in through some beehives. We had a path going this way. So let's go with three. It was a large. So large. I'm gonna roll on that. So excited about that. We got one winter crop, so that's not very exciting because that's not a very big table, but we'll go back and roll that in just a bit. What kind of crop it is. All right, we're skipping down to six, which is a medium size space. And so, two, we have a mushroom patch. All right, we'll roll on that table again later. And so, eight is small area. And I have pre decided because I have like three small spaces right here. Also, let's talk about this stars. I'll erase these and just like right now. Um, this small area was supposed to be uh 3 by 5 or 5 by 3, but I didn't have 5 squares, so I just made it 16 instead of 15. Over here in 20, just some executive decisions I had to make. This space, I entered this space through here and rolled this space, and it said it was supposed to have two exits. And I didn't have room for that, so I just gave it one exit. You can make executive decisions. And then 21, something else kind of funky happened. Oh, over here, I was coming through this area right here, and I rolled a path that was 4 by 1, and I couldn't go this way. I couldn't go that way 4, so I just made a T to connect to this large area right here. I just made an executive decision there, and then 35. Let me see what happened with 35. 35 again. I was supposed to roll two exits, but these were on the exterior border, and so I just gave it. I rolled two exits, so I just gave it one exit. And so I'm gonna erase all those notes that just explaining executive decisions that you're allowed to make as a player to make your discovery session just work and make it make sense. And so, yeah, those are all my notes. So we got 8 as a small space. Let's roll and see what type of small space it is. I have pre-decided in all these small spaces that if I roll any repeats, and so I think I'm gonna roll all three of these small spaces, like 8, 9, and then 13 and 17 in the same, at the, not at the same time, but like in subsequent order. Uh, because if I roll any repeats, I'm going to re-roll them because I don't want the same small spaces all clustered together. So let's start with 8. Let's see what it is. 5. It is a pond. All right, 9. 4. That is a vendor. And we'll roll what type of vendor they are and just no, vendors you don't have to roll the type. Vendor is just vendor. They sell you fertilizer or bee water. Not bee water, but sugar water for the bees. All right, let's go ahead and roll 13 since it's right here. Small space. Let's see what kind of small space we got. It says 2, which is a buyer. It's really convenient. 13 is a buyer. And we'll roll what kind of buyer it is in just a second, and I'll explain that too. Let's go over to 12. No, let's go ahead and get 17 taken care of and see what type of small space that is. I'm hoping it's a flower patch. Let's see. Nope, it's a vendor. 9 was a vendor, so right next to it, so I'm going to re-roll this. 17, let's see. It's a shade tree. Big old shade tree right there. Alright. Alright, going back in order, let's go to 12. 12 is over here, the small space. Hoping that's a herb patch, but let's see what we discover. 4, making it a vendor. I'm okay with that because it's not right next to another vendor. So, it's a vendor. Alright. Let's go to 14. Another small space. Let's see what we got here. It is 2, a buyer. Love how these buyers and vendors are right next to each other. We'll roll and see what type of buyer it is. Luego. Let us go to 15, which is beautiful large space. And so 15 is a large space. Let's see what it is. 3, fall crops. Alright. We'll roll on the table and see what type of fall crop that is. 16, I just want to see it on the map. 16 is right here out of the large area. So 16 is small. It's just 12 square units. So 16, let's roll on the small table. Hoping for a flower patch. Come on, baby. No whammies or herbs. It is 6, a shade tree. Okay, that's fine. It is a shade tree. 18 is a small space right here. It is 15 square units, so let's roll on that. Again, herb patch or flower patch, please, please, please. 4. We got a vendor, and I believe that comes right after a series of vendors and buyers. So I I'm gonna keep it a vendor. I'm not happy about it, but we'll name him Gary. Alright. Let me go back and name my other vendors. We got Gary, Monica. I just like that name when I Monica, and then this vendor right here. I'm just making up names. This is completely optional. You don't have to give it a name, your vendor a name, but let's say this is Ted. I like Ted. It's Ted. Okay, so 19 is this huge mega large space. It was actually supposed to be 9 by 11, but I obviously didn't have 9 spaces, and so I only had 5 spaces to work with. So I ended up making it 100 instead of 99, and I think that's fine. And so right here we are gonna roll on the large spaces. So, large spaces, let's go. Let's see what we got. Come on, come on. Um, 2 summer crops. All right. Somewhere on here we have 20, which is just a small large space. It's I wanted to like mark this as extra large because it's huge, and this is like extra large as well. But here we have the smallest large space we can get, which is 30, 6 by 5. And so let's see what we have. We're gonna roll on the large space table again, and we got 6 on orchard. We got a small little orchard. I'll see what kind in a bit. All right, 22 is a small space right here. Let's see what's in it. Oh, missed tray. I don't like that. 6. We got another shade tree. I'll probably draw it in the corner and then like so. Anyways, it's a shade tree. Where are my herbs, baby? Baby, where are my flowers? All right, so 23 is a medium space. I didn't get a ton of medium space, but let's see where it's at. It's right here. Here's my medium space, 23. Let's see what we got. And I really hope it's not a potting shed. I would like berries, please. But let's see what we got. Oh, missed a tray. 2. Mushroom patch! Yay! So that's our second mushrooms for level 1. Alright, 25 right here, large space. Let's see what's in it. I rolled quite a bit of doubles. I ended up rolling 4 doubles. 2. We got more summer crops. So in this large space, summer crop. Making my, I think these are called semicolons or colons? Like colons, maybe? They're colons? Making them a little bit more obvious so that when we go back on the table and roll what each one is, it just, um, pops out as something I know I need to add information to. So 26 is a medium space. Let's see about 26 is right here. So let's roll that on the medium. We got 1 more beehives. All right, 29 over somewhere. Where's 29? 25. 29 right here. We got a small space. So 29. Let's see what's in that small space. 5. We got a pond. Well, I think I'm gonna make that a well because like you have an option and we already have a pond. So we'll make that a cute little well. Um, Alright, and it'll be smucked up and I'm cute. got some plants and stuff. It's gonna make out. All right, 30 is a large space, big old large space right here. Let's see what's in that large space. 3, fall crops. All right, 31 right here is a medium space. Let's roll on that table. 4, potting shed. Okay, haven't gotten one of those yet so far in any of my tests. Potting shed, which is actually kind of I haven't figured out any game mechanics for the potting shed, so let's roll 32, this medium space right here, which is 4 by 6, which is 24, and it totally is a medium space. I am hoping for berries. Come on, please. And I feel like I'm jinxing it by saying what I'm hoping for, but anyways, let's just see what's in that medium space right here. 1, beehives. Okay, we're going to be collecting a lot of honey from this area. All right, 33, small area. 15 square units, 33. Let's see what's in that small area. 2, it's a buyer. Got a lot of buyers. And so just things I'm considering right now is that once you have one vendor and maybe 2 or 3 buyers, you have to re-roll because so I will put that into consideration, and we'll see next time because I don't see myself not playing this anytime soon. So we'll see for next video what we do with the buyers and vendors because there's a heck of a lot of buyers and vendors now. Where so I think that's funny. I fixed the problem and it created more of a problem. So maybe actually a thought, just a thought. Um, I could make buyer slash vendor one roll, and then you have to roll on a table for if it's a buyer or bulk buyer, regular buyer, or a vendor. I could do that. That's an option. But then I don't really know what I would add in place. I do like the labyrinths. I do like the gazebos. So drop a comment. Let me know what you think I should do. I would really appreciate that. So let's continue rolling. We got another small space, 34. Let's see what's in it. 3, flower patch! Yay! All right. All right. 35 is medium space, just barely medium space. It's the smallest medium space you can have. It's 3 by 6, which is 18, making it a medium space. Let's see what's in it. Oh, missed the table, missed the tray. 5. It's an outdoor dining area. And the only reason I'm okay with that is because I haven't gotten one yet. And I'm happy because there's actions you can take in outdoor dining area. 36 was a wonky little, it was supposed to be 24, 6 by 4, but I didn't have 6, so I just made it, you know, 5 by 4, which is 20, and then added 4 on, so still 24. It's a medium space. Let's roll and see what we got. 5. I got another outdoor dining area. Because those are right next door to each other, I am going to re-roll. I love berries. And I did not get berries. I got, oh, another beehive. Okay, that's okay. Alright, so now it's time to do a couple things. I want to roll on this dead end and see what it is. There's a little dead end right there. I just feel like I don't know. I'm struggling. Alright, that was helpful. I don't know if you can see this, and I've recorded this whole time without not knowing if you can see, but it is what it is. Let's roll on this dead end table. So let me dead end. So it's either, let's see what it is. It's a labyrinth. A labyrinth. So I will extend that ever so slightly. It's a small little labyrinth. And I'm going to put that as 38. Labyrinth. So tiny. It's like, it can hardly be a labyrinth. But anyways. I'll just draw, I know how I'm going to draw it. It's going to be like tight edges. And so I'm not going to spend time drawing it right now, all the details to each of my spaces, because we need to go back through and look at a different table to see what all we have. And so we're just going to go in order, starting with, let me zoom out actually. We got winter crop, so I'm going to roll on that table. I really hope I don't get arugula, because I think arugula is disgusting. Alright, we got one. Curly kale. Alright. Alright, let's see what type of mushrooms we have. That's on a different table. And so we're going to roll to see what type of mushrooms we have. 5 is cantarelle. Cantarelle mushrooms. I've never eaten these mushrooms, but they're really pretty. Alright, let's see what type of buyer we have on 13. That's a really easy roll. I don't even have to look at the table. 5 or less, it's a standard buyer. On a 6, it's a bulk buyer. So let's see what we got. So it's standard buyer. We're gonna roll what kind of buyer we have again. It's a standard buyer. And then for our fall crop, let's see what type of crop we got for fall. So for rolling crops, we do roll 2d6 and yeah. So let's see what we got. I got 3, 4. So 3, 4. It says. Let me zoom in on it. 3, 4. Romaine lettuce. Okay, is what it is. Someone's gonna be really happy to buy some romaine lettuce. All right. Summer crop, let's see what we got. I got 2 6. 2 6 for summer is some watermelon. I'm so happy. Um, that's gonna be so fun to draw. All right, let's see what type of orchard we have. I love trees that produce fruit. I love fruit. Let's see what we got. Oh, out of the tray. All right, we got 3 6. So 3 6 says it's a peach orchard. So exciting. 23. We are going to roll some mushrooms. I'm gonna roll some mushrooms. So I need a different table for that. Let's see. Mushrooms. Let's see. I hope I don't get the same canterelle. Chanterelle? Canterelle? I think it's canterelle. I will correct me if I'm wrong. So we got 3 enoki mushrooms. So cute. Love enoki mushrooms. So tasty, to be honest. All right, we're going back to the crops table to see what type of summer crop we got going on. All right, summer crop. Let's roll our 2d6. 3 4. 3 4 zucchini. Yep, we got some zucchini going. I like drawing zucchini. Got some zooks. All right, we need a roll on the crops table for fall. What kind of fall crops do we have? Hope it's not romaine lettuce. Sorry to hate on the romaine lettuce, but it's not. It's 2 5 is what we got. So 2 5 for fall is red cabbage. So that's fun. All right, let's see what type of buyer we have. Hoping for a bulk buyer. Just one on this level would be quite nice, but I don't mind if it's a standard buyer. It's a standard buyer. All right, let's flower patch. So we need a different table, flowers. We're gonna roll 2, and these are ground flowers because this is, nope, yeah, these are ground flowers. And so I would have put shrubs if anyways, it's small, so it's ground flowers. Anyways, flower patch, let's see what type we got. We're gonna roll 2d6 and take the sum. All right, 4 plus 4 is 8, so it looks like it's zinnia. All right, so that concludes our rolling of things, and so just some reflection right now. So this concludes our discovery session, and so we are gonna do 2 tending sessions in just a bit. But before we do some tending sessions, I do want to color in the flowing mana. I do want to color in the poche. And so I'm going to take some time to do that. I will fast forward through that and I will skip that. I kind of want to use my mild liners to do that. I was going to use a silky crayon like I did here, but I think I'm going to use a mild liner to do that. So I know I want it to be orange, so I'm going to color that in just so we have that background, that flowing mana. Okay, I am going to use a silky crayon, but I'm going to do that. Let me grab those right quick, and I will be right back. All right. We did not say in the lines, but I am back. We did not say in the lines everywhere, but that is perfectly a-okay. We're going, but what I did do does make our gardening section, our garden pop out. So this is the garden in all of its spaces. So now for a tending session. How do we play a tending session? Um, I really hope. Sorry, I'm just going over some of the sections that I know we're kind of heavy on because I really don't want this to bleed over here, like imprint over there. Alright, so how do we do a tending session? Well, I'm going to need a new sheet of paper. Um, so, we're going to do some flipping back and forth, and that's okay. At least I hope it is. But let's go ahead, and I am going to show y'all my um, sample stats page or session log. And so I am going to zoom in on that. Alright, I am going to count out where the approximate middle is and just draw a guiding line there. It is 18, 17. We're going to go 17, so. Right, it is here. And I'm just going to do this ever so slightly. So the reason I drew that line is because my sessions, I don't want to be more than like 5 lines long. And yeah, so let's just get after it. I am going to do this in pen. So let me grab a pen because we do record keeping in pen. So session 1. Because we are on level 1, we have let me just explain that because I never explained that in video 1 in garden tending. So let's go there. So first of all, it says that in my thing. Sorry, there's a lot of tables here, but I'm not sorry. It's going to be a really good time. So first of all, I've come to the conclusion that tracking XP experience is both a daunting task, nor does it bring joy to the hearts of people who are not mathematicians like I am. So With that said, each discovery session grants you a new level, and that is how you're going to level up by doing more discovery sessions. And so this was level 0, this is level 2. And so to start a session, we're first going to roll for the time of day and season, and then we're going to busy ourselves taking actions. At level 1, you have 10 actions, and then at each level after level, I'm going to change that right now. It's official. Each level after level 3, you have, because I want to make it a little bit more challenging, 5 more actions. So at level 4, you will have 15 actions, and at level 5, you will have 20 actions per session. And so once you spent all your action, the session ends, and you can write a sentence about your time in the garden and re-roll for your next session. So we're going to play out 2 sessions. And so we'll be taking a total of 20 actions spread over 2 sessions. And yeah. So first thing you do, you roll for the time of day and the season. The very first time you roll for season, you roll simply on the season table. Okay, so winter, spring equinox, summer, fall equinox, and you get special bonuses during the equinoxes. Um, and so um, that is written somewhere in here. Harvesting, yes. So you get a additional for fall and spring crops. You get an additional +1 for harvesting during the equinox. You already get a +1 for harvesting in the crops that are in season. So during the equinox, you get +2 for harvesting during the equinox, the spring or the fall equinox. So harvesting only happens after a crop has reached been 100 on the watering side. Now, different times of days give you different types of bonuses, except for noon. Doing stuff at noontime, if you harvest at noontime, you get a -1 for harvesting. Otherwise, it's just like a normal sesh. Because like I just believe that like high noon is one of the hottest part of the day. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you harvesting in the middle of the day? Just like, don't do that. Pumpkins are heavy. Don't do that. And so, but you get um, every other time of day, you get a bonus for doing different things. And so that might guide what actions you choose to take. And so, as far as actions go, there are 7 actions, I believe. Yeah, 7 actions. You can harvest, you can beekeep, for bee happiness level, that's like the watering level, but for bees. And you can feed them, um, fertilizer, or feed the bees, fertilize your crops or feed the bees. And so you can sell crops, you can host meals or parties, and you can, last but not least, plant plants in the greenhouse. That takes an action. And so let us, we got 7 actions that we can do, and we can do pretty much all of these actions except for planting in the greenhouse, because we don't have a greenhouse on this level. So, session 1, I'm going to go back to my sample log page just to guide me. Um, I'm going to put TOD for time of day. So, session 1, I'm going to blog today's date. Today is 10, 12, 25. I do want a space because No, we're on limited space. We're on limited space. I do not want a space. Come on, save the paper, save the trees. No space. All right. So we're about to roll for the season. And then I think I'm going to put the TOD over here, time of day over here, past my little dividing line. And then I am going to go ahead and I am going to draw 10 circles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so I will cross off my actions as I take them. And so let us roll, go back to garden tending, and let us roll. Did that? Hello. Let us roll for the season. And we'll go ahead and roll for time of day at the same time. So I'll roll two different d6, and so season will be this cute little die right here. And time of day will be this die right here. So it's like kind of gray marbly, but I love the like kind of sea glass frosted dice. Oh, I just love those. So season, time of day. Let's see what we got. So season, we got one. It's winter. That's kind of sad, but that's okay because we do have some winter crops. And then time of day, I got 5. So let me scroll over. 5 is dusk. So +1, 2, outdoor dining. So I know the first thing I would like to do is the first thing I would like to do is host a meal. Let's see. Um, what we're gonna use this for our action dice. It's kind of a marbly black. So I am going to go ahead and count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we got the and all right. So I counted out 1 through 10, boop boop, for me to log my 10 game options. This is optional. You can just jot down important notes, but I will be doing like a quick jot on what we're gonna do because I get 1 to outdoor dining. I know the first thing I'm gonna do is grab a vendor, and have a meal with him. In fact, we're gonna have a little tea party over in space 35 outdoor dining area. And so to have a meal, I need to give my buyers some names. Let's give the buyers some names because I think that's fun and sweet and cute. So we got 3 standard buyers. So we got Ted, Monica, and Gary. And so for buyers, we have June, Francis, and Georgia. All right. So I'm gonna go grab Gary, and we're gonna have a meal, a tea party. And I did say I was going to do this in pen, so let me grab my pen. I could have just gone over it, but whatever. So, Tea Party with Gary, that's my first action. I'm going to cross it off, but we're also going to roll. So, whenever you are having a meal with somebody, you roll for the prestige level of that dining area. And so, 35, we're going to roll for the prestige level. It's just 1d6. These just slowly stack and over time. So I'm going to put that in the watering slash prestige slash bee happiness stat log area. So we're just going to roll a d6. And then because it is dusk, I get to add +1 to this. So I get 4 to start off with. And this I will be doing in pencil. So, oh, my pen has a pencil on it. It's so cool. This is from Daiso, y'all. That's 4 colors and a handy dandy pencil. So, wow. Okay, anyways. Outdoor dining area. So we got 4 to start with. 4 out of 100. And then we're doing this in pencil. So 4 out of 100. Alright, great time. And so I could min max or whatever. I could just simply spend all 10 of my actions having different dining experiences, but I would like to eventually be able to harvest my plants. So let's take another action to let's do something in the area. Let's look at 36. We got a beehive, so let's tend the bees. So we're gonna go ahead and tend the bees. Um, and then I will my second action. So I will log that. Alright, beekeeping, we're gonna roll for that to roll for the bee happiness level. And so we're doing that on 36. 3. No bonuses there. This is gonna take forever. But I'm okay with that. Alright. So we did some beekeeping. Let's do something else in this area. So I'm going to go down to 34 and see what I can do here. It's a flower patch. Let's water that flower patch. And so, alright, so we did something in this flower patch. Let's go ahead and roll for the watering level of the zinnias. And come on, baby. Roll high. 4. Not bad. Alright, so we got flower patch. 4 out of big number 100. I am willing to workshop this, and of course, you can play however you want to play. Maybe you're playing on easy mode, and maybe you only need to get to 50 or 75 for medium level mode. But I am playing in a way that allows me to really invest some time here. And so, yeah. All right. So we're going to leave the flower patch and go into the shade tree the well area, and there's really not anything to do there. And so let's keep moseying around. I would like to go over here to 19, which is the watermelon patch, and let's water the watermelons. So we did some beekeeping. We watered. Let me cross off my game action. And so now we're going to water the watermelons. And then I'll roll and I'll cross it off. Sorry, after I roll and log it. Alright, so I'm all about procedures. So let's see. Oh, out of the tray. 4. Not bad, not bad, not bad for the watermelons. So 4. And then let's go up here to 32 and do something there. Beehives, let's do some beekeeping. Um, gonna sing a little song to the bees, make sure they're happy. Um, so let's roll for our bee happiness level. And 32. 6. These are, they like that song, baby. Alright, so we are halfway through this session. And so we're going to go from 32 into 30 and see what we can do. We got some red cabbage growing there. Let's water the red cabbage. Alright. So let's water this red cabbage. Let's see, let's see, let's see. 1. Okay, the red cabbage, that's sad. But it is what it is. Red cabbage, we have a 1 out of 100. Only 99 to go before we can harvest. No big deal. And so we're here, that dead ends. We can go back through and rewater the watermelon, but I'm not going to do that. I'd like to spread out my actions as much as possible throughout the garden. So let's go to number 6 and see what there is to do there. Oh, we got our cantarell growing here. So let's water our cantarell. Chanterelle, whatever. Chanterelle, I think chanterelle is actually correct. Again, you can correct me. But maybe I'm saying it right in Spanish. Chantarelle. Cantarell. All right. I promise I'll look that up before next video. So let's water the mushrooms. Um, so first, if all this going back and forth is driving you nuts, I just apologize. I'm sorry. All right, let's water 6 the chanterelle. All right, let's water it. 4. 96 to go. Only 96. 4 out of 100. Alright. And so we're here. Let's go back to the starting space, which is beehive area, and do some beekeeping. Um, All right, beekeeping. Sorry, I'm using the music, so excuse my humming. We're gonna beekeep in the starting area one, and so let's roll for their bee happiness level. Oh, well, that would have been nice if it was in there. As four, so those are some decently happy bees. So right here we're gonna put 4 out of 100, and back here to cross off that action. And then we have two actions left before we do a little summary of our Dusk into Night um, session one. So we're back at one, and so I'm going to travel through over here to the space in three, and three is our curly kale, so let's water the curly kale. I absolutely love kale, and so let's water that curly kale, baby. Um, Two. It's winter and they don't like being watered. Okay, that's okay. All right, 2 out of 100. This can honestly go away. I'm going to make this go away for right now because, um, like, you know, there's only a couple of actions we can take. We can do some beekeeping, some watering, and we don't have any gold, so we can't buy. And we don't have any crops to sell because we're just like nowhere near, so we can't sell. So I'm gonna put that away. We only have like main two game actions here, and so let's continue. Mm, and so I was in three, and we are going to move into 17. Let's move into 17. That's a shade tree, so JK. And then here we got vendors and buyers in 9 and 8. Well, 8 is a pond. Be fun to do some fishing. Uh, I might consider adding that to the game mechanics. That way you can get to selling early on. And so I might workshop that. We'll see. But we got a pond here. And also I just love fishing. And so here, let's go into 15. We got a romaine lettuce growing. Let's water the romaine lettuce. So let me write down what I'm doing for our final action. So we watered the curly kale. And what did we get for the curly kale? Two. Yeah. And so now let's water the romaine lettuce. And that will be our final action. So to water this romaine lettuce, I am going to, um, yeah, roll, and I got three. So let's see, romaine lettuce for 15. Romaine lettuce, I got three, so 3 out of 100. Fine. All right, so let's do our session summary. And so this is where you can get as creative or as little creative as you want. Um, and so this is where if you are a storyteller, you can go in and just say like, I have a lovely tea with Gary. Tea party. We had cucumber sandwiches and Earl Grey tea, and bees and butterflies were buzzing around. It was a wonderful time. But you can get creative with this. I would like to just write a sentence or so. Um, which really do I need to summarize this? Like this is where you go in and do your storytelling, because I do have really detailed jotted down notes, but this is where I am going to say that the ones that acted up, so like three or less. All right. So that was my summary. I'm going to read it to you. So, my summary says today I had a lovely tea party with Gary as the fireflies were fluttering about. Afterwards, I watered crops and tended bees. The red cabbage and curly kale didn't seem to drink in as much water as I hoped. And so that is session one done. And so I'm going to leave a little space and we shall do session two. And so it is still the same date. I'm going to still write the date because why not? And then we'll roll for the season to see if we're going to stay in winter or proceed to spring. And then time of day, we'll figure that out. And we will take 10 more actions. So I'm kind of really feeling like these dots are arbitrary, and so I am going to choose not to do the dots this time to, say space and paper. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4, 5, and then here we got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have session summary. All right. So season and time of day, let's hit it. So again, season, time of day, let's hit it. I am going to turn back on the table just so y'all can see. Um, and so now that it says subsequent sessions. So now that we are done with new level session one, we are on the subsequent session. So we are going to roll to either stay in the same season or proceed to the next season. And then we'll roll time of day just like normal. And so, um, let's see what we got. Bruh, we're proceeding. So it is, that's funny. I wasn't expecting that. So it's spring now. After winter comes spring. And then the time of day, I got 3. So it is high noon. We're not going to do any harvesting. It's just going to be no bonuses to nothing. And it is what it is. And so I think what I would like to do as I continue through my spaces is continue from where I left off. It'd be nice to have like a little "you are here" star. That would be kind of sweet when you finish a session so that you can kind of mosey through the different areas, in a cool fashion. But because I'm immediately doing this next session, I know I left off in 15, and so it's spring on the next day of the spring or the next session. It could have been a couple weeks since I visited the magic garden. Girls got stuff they gotta do, and so again, um, highly considering making it to where people can do some fishing. Highly considering. I will let you know. Drop a comment if you think that should be a thing, and if I already know how the mechanic would work. If we added fishing as an action, you would just roll to see how many fish, and then you can sell them for not as much as a crop, but like 5, and then that would increase as you increase above level 3, and so 5 gold each, so that you can start making some income early on, and so which so I'm highly considering that. I will go back to the drawing board there. But yeah, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Let's take our 10 actions this noontime, spring, first day of spring, so to speak. Or, I don't know how much time this elapsed. That's up to you. Get creative. I'm going to say it's the first day of spring. And so, because I'm playing these back to back. So it's first day of spring. Um, All right. Um, so we're in 15. Let's just do what we just did. To start off with, let's water the romaine lettuce. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the table because again, there's only so many actions we can take in this early game. So let's water that romaine lettuce. We got two. And so the romaine lettuce, we're back on this page. Um, and this is why you need a good eraser because for the romaine lettuce we had three. And so now we're up to, okay, yeah, I know that 3 plus 2 is 5. Hello? 5. And so this is where I highly recommend writing lightly. Don't dig into the paper because you're going to be erasing, okay? You're going to be erasing. Please do not write hard, aggressively. Don't do it. All right, so we watered our romaine lettuce, and then so right here, let's go into 16 and see what this. Oh, that's shade tree. So let's go into 22 shade tree. All right, let's go into 20 over here. Let's go over to 20. It's a peach orchard. Let's water the peaches. All right, we're gonna water the peach trees. And we got 3 out of 100. 3 out of 100. All right. Oh, I don't have to put out of 100, but I do. Um, I know what the goal is. But yeah, peaches have been watered. Let's go into 23 and see what this space holds. Mushrooms, the enoki mushrooms. So we're going to water the enoki mushrooms. All right, I am going to water the enoki mushrooms. I got one. We're going to move out of this space. The enoki mushrooms are right here at 23. So we're going to move into this large space, 25. And we got the zucchini. So let's water the zucchini. Alright, let's water that zucchini. 4. That's good. Alright, so we got 25, we had some zucchini. And now we're going to go into this area 33. And 33 is a buyer, is Georgia. And so we're not going to do anything with Georgia. 31, we got the potting shed. No actions can be taken in the potting shed at this time in my game development. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab Georgia, go over to 35, and it's noon. We're going to have lunch with Georgia. 3, just average. So I'm going to put 3 here, and then on 35, which is the outdoor dining area, 35 outdoor dining 3. So we have 4 plus 3 is 7. So 7 out of 100 prestige. It's going well. No bonuses there. Alright, and so we're taking some of the kind of same cyclical routes through the garden, and I think that's perfectly beautiful, honestly. 36, we got the beehives, so let's tend the bees. I need my tiny eraser. Let's see if I can find that. Hmm, it's around here somewhere. There it is. Alright, you see, it's out of these erasers, this one's much smaller. Alright, so we did some outdoor dining, we're gonna do some beekeeping. Alright, time to roll. See how happy the bees get. Oh, that's out of the tray. 4. Alright, I'm gonna log that here just for funsies. And then, 36. So, 3 plus 4 is 7. Alright, and then we're leaving out of here and going through 34. I'm gonna water the zinnias. Alright, let's roll to water the zinnias. 3. And I got 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. Got lots of 7s right now. Alright. 29 is watering well, which I'm considering changing into a pond because you can actually maybe potentially take actions at a pond. But let's just go through this pathway into the watermelon patch and water the watermelons just like we did last session. Alright. 5. They're just soaking that up. They're ready. So watermelons, 4 plus 5 is 9. Alright, that is done. And so we're going to leave the watermelon patch and we're going to go north into 32, which is the beehives, and do some beekeeping. Alright, those are very happy bees. Okay, very happy bees. Those are the ones I sang to. Alright, so let's sing to them again and see if we can get that up to a 12, but it's probably not going to be a 12. Let's see what happens. Ooh! Alright, 30 is a large space. Let's water that red cabbage. 4. Bro, I'm struggling my brain. So 10 is my 10th action, so we're watering the red cabbage in 30. So it's 30 red cabbage. 4 plus 1 is 5. Alright, now it's time for me to do my session summary. Let me write that out. Alright, here's my summary. Today I started my time in the garden watering crops. Then I had lunch with a frequent buyer, Georgia. Lastly, I continued watering crops and had some time with the bees. I sang them a song and they are extremely happy. So that is session 1 and session 2 in level 1. And so between now and my next video, which don't know when I will be posting that, I will be coloring this in with details so that it looks something like this and more garden like and less dungeon like. And I will be playing on my own time and just having fun. I might record some of my play sessions. But next video, we will definitely move on to level 2 and actually maybe level 3 or 4. It depends on just how my life goes. But I am going to. These session logs are taking way much more space than I had hoped. So this is 2 sessions. I have room for maybe 2 more sessions, not even. And so I need a lot more space between levels than I thought I would. And so I am going to go ahead and say that, yeah, I think this is going to be good. Statistically speaking, if with an average of 3 per roll, 3 to 4 per roll, not including bonuses and all that jazz, 100 divided by 3 is 33. I would need like 33 sessions to get all my crops up to, and my bees to the proper happiness level and to be able to harvest. And so if I do 3 per page, just doing some, I need 11 pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so level 2 will start right here for sure. And um, so this will be level two. Eventually, and I will make sure to we'll cross this bridge later. We'll cross that bridge of level two later. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for being here. Um, and so I guess it's now time for me to go edit this video. So have a great rest of your day. It's been real, and yeah, hope to see you next video. By see you, I mean I don't know, see you in the comments or something. But if you enjoy this content, please subscribe, like, all the things, because as much as I made this video for my friends, I do think I have a really fun idea here that could take off, and I experienced so much joy just coloring in the background, um, and I feel like this could be a really fun meditative game for people, and so yeah, thanks for being here. See you next time.